Okay, Joseph. I don't know which number of movies I made today. I made many movies. I want to concentrate on the aspect of spiritual work that implies by attending uh, beings or creatures that are shifters. What is what is shifting? And I want to take it to a common human behavior and show what is exactly where the shifting starts. So the first thing that I can start with is attention. That is, I'm attending something. That I'm looking at the screen. I'm attending the screen. I'm seeing it. That is, I'm looking at it. That I'm taking impression of the colors. That taking impression of my own voice. I'm looking around at the studios. I'm taking impression of works that I do. Now, the work that you do, it takes dedication. So there is dedication where I did this work. In my case, it's a painting, or that is a writing that I've done, or a video that I made, and I'm watching it. I'm watching myself, or you watching it. So there's attention to it. Now, if you are attracted to the material, like I'm attracted to my paintings, or I'm attracted to my other stuff that I do, then there is dedication. Dedication, it implies investment. It implies involvement. It implies building up a scenario, or building up or following a procedure, being guided to follow procedures. There's a lot of things when I'm dedicating to myself to something, that it happens when I look at something enough that is interesting me, that is I'm curious about it, I am attracted to it because of something, because of its colors, because of its shapes, because of the meaning, because of whatever, and I find myself dedicating myself to it. I'm working on it for hours, sometimes for days, and I revisit my work. If it's a painting, it's very common to revisit the work after a while, and then perhaps work more of it on it. Then a lot of things surrounding it, like the supplies that I need to purchase, the place that I need to be in. It's a lot of dedication to create something like a serious work. So there is this attention. The first thing that you attending something, whether it's outside or inside, a spiritual thing, a thought, a feeling, emotion, relationship that you think about, you're attending it, then you dedicate it to it, then you think about it more, then you try to perhaps go deeper into it, the more you dedicated to it. And then imagine that somebody came here. While I was working for hours and days and so forth, and somebody came from another place, from another, say, life. Somebody came here, the neighbor came here, uh, the dog started to bark. Something interfered or came into my attention in such a way that I had to withdraw from my dedication, my whole dedication, at least momentarily, and maybe for more, depends how much the intrusion or the interference was appealing or was aggressive or was something that pulled me away from which I was concentrated on, and pulled me into another thing. So this is what I call shifting. I shifted. I shifted to something that now I have to take care. Why, for example, why the plants and the nice trees that I plant in the garden, somebody is chopping them off? Why somebody is coming and chopping a beautiful bush with flowers? Then I had to go into weeks of consideration who could have come to my garden, and I was pretty irritated. So that took me off my work to a certain extent, and I had to shift into social awareness. I became socially aware, and I was, in fact, pretty intimidated by somebody who was cutting off plants. So I gave this my attention, I gave my dedication. I was considering about it, I was consulting because this is the way I do things, and reconsidering it and developing the insight into it. So I'd find who did it. So it took like a month until I found who did it and handled it. I didn't handle it by myself. It's also a combination of a few people that worked together. The neighbors, other neighbors that heard about it, we shared this with other neighbors. Neighbors also started to share the garden. Now the neighbors are sharing the gardens with us, and they're keeping an eye on the plants in the garden that down below, that is the other side of the house. And I don't have a straight look at them, sitting here. So somebody is looking at the plants in the garden. Furthermore, the dogs that usually very aggressive is a kind of crazy dog that you have here, and you can hear them barking in other videos that I make. They're not my dogs, but they're loud enough to be heard as if they are here in the apartment. So the dog started to watch the garden for us. So the dog is sitting there and he's walking around, and he perhaps disturbs the lady that from the downstairs, that she's crazy enough to go out. She hates green stuff, so she cuts and pull out everything, weeds, whatever she sees, she pulls out. She's crazy enough. Her husband complains how rude she is. Anyway, so we found it. So I was shifting to take care of it. It took me a month or over a month to find a solution. So I was shifting. I'm shifting towards anything that will pull my attention. So I'll be attentive to this and to that. I'll be shifting between issues or subject or areas that I can call them different areas of consciousness. For example, last year there was an extraterrestrial attack on this house, and there was a very strange story that I'm not going to tell now, but I'm having evidence that there's a few bullet holes in my window that are not made by a human weapon. They're not made by any phenomena that I saw. It's a strange story, and I still have the holes, the glasses with the holes in them that are perfect holes, like the glass was drilled with some kind of energy weapon. I was not hurt. I shifted. I shifted to where this did not hurt me. The aliens, who I suppose are Zeta, that control the areas here, they are fond of this apartment. In fact, the last person that lived here, that built this place, I don't want to talk about this, but they're very busy hurting people other species that are they're doing it for their own reasons. You could take consideration that they are here and they're doing stuff like that, and you will be shifting to where you could see them. So I knew about them. Slowly, I learned about them. I knew that they're here. I gathered evidence. I was looking around, and I could shift to where I could see the Zeta. And when they noticed that I could see them, they vanished out of sight. So you see what I mean with shifting. I can shift from being absolutely quiet and confident if something pulls my attention. So I'll be attending it. Sometimes it will force itself on me that I'll be attentive to it, and then I will be dedicated to it to understand what's going on, and then I will consider it and shift with it. But basically, I'm protected. I have the ability to protect myself through interaction. Uh, if I can see a non-physical being, and I know that I can see them, and the birds know that I can see everything like they do, or at least some of what they see. So I have partners for seeing shifting entities that are, they feel that they belong to this land no less than I am. So yes, so I was just giving you an example of how uh, the natural properties of a person to attend something, how do we dedicate ourselves to something, how we pulled out of something, sometimes abruptly and forcefully. So this is something that is very scary for people who have not been encountered by such being. They will be shocked. They will be shocked if an unseen creature or being uh, was attached to them or took over them or influenced them without them being aware that it happened like this. And this is one way, one side of people becoming religion, that they experience something so scary, and this attracted me. This was something that, because they were trying to affect me as well. When you have a religious fanatic and they're so concentrated, they're so condensed, you think they have something of value to bring to the world, and then you find out eventually that they are psychopaths and they cannot handle shifting. So yes, so I said what I wanted, I think. Thank you for watching. I'm Joseph. Bye bye.